We are off the session highs right now. We're up 968 right now. But I got to say here, if you look at, for a moment, we were in bear market territory. At one point, we were up about 1,216 points. We'll see if we can get there in the next 2 hours. Now, the news was rough this morning. You can't escape it. A record 3.28 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell appeared on a television show this morning. He says the U.S. may already be in a recession, but then he made it very clear that the central bank is doing everything it can to ensure a, quote, solid rebound once the coronavirus is contained. Let's bring in Point View Wealth Management's David Dietze and Money Map Press Chief Investment Strategist Keith Fitzgerald, two of my favorites. Great to have you guys here.
Thank you, Cheryl.
David, I want to start with you and these comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He was on the Today Show on NBC this morning, and he's like, look, the Fed's going to be aggressive. But he also said, look, we probably are in a recession at this moment. Maybe he stated the obvious, but it came from the Federal Reserve Chairman.
Well, certainly the best part here is he's speaking directly to the people. I think that is so critical because obviously confidence among all Americans is so critical to get through this. I also think, remember, just go back a couple of decades, the Federal Reserve never said anything. Now he's on a popular channel. I think that underscores the resolve that the Federal Reserve has to do everything possible. The one thing I'm watching for, will they do anything about high yield bonds? That's what we got to watch for.
Yeah, and also, Keith, it made me think, as he was talking this morning, that, investors are looking for a time when maybe the market is going to start to flatten out, bottom out. I mean, it all depends on the virus. But it's been made very clear now that the government's going to be there, the Federal Reserve's going to be there. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin made it very clear we're going to do whatever it takes. When do you get comfortable to get more into stocks, more than we're in today?
Well, I tell you what, you never truly get comfortable if you're doing this right, because you're always trying to go towards the future, towards what the stock market's going to do next. I think that you don't change course. If you're a long-term investor, you're continually looking for the best plays at the best time. That's now, because we're going to see, as the recovery mounts, we're going to see stocks run 50, even 100%. Don't forget that the economy was very strong before this hit. This was a biological event, not a market event, not a banking event.
Well, it's funny, David, I was going to ask you about the initial jobless claims. I mean, look, their estimates have been anywhere from 1 to 4 million. That was kind of a worst case scenario, but 3.2 million was certainly rough. I mean, let's all remember here, folks, we had 113 straight months of jobs added in this economy. And this wasn't a financial shock to the system. This is a medical shock to the system, David.
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting from a very high level, which suggests that the initial reaction was going to be more extreme than was thought. Remember, of course, this exceeded what was the survey numbers, but it obviously was less than the so-called whisper numbers. That's one of the reasons the market's going up. But I think it's very important for all the market participants to realize this is a symptom. It's not the cause of the volatility we're seeing. As Keith was suggesting, all eyes have to be on the path of the virus, the coronas. And I think the best news there is people are looking at China, Asia, even a little bit in Spain and Italy, a little bit of leveling off. And that's what you want to stay focused on, not those jobless numbers.
Well, Keith, I mean, I've been looking at a few companies here that have been kind of, I think are market stories worth mentioning to our viewers. Companies like Apple, McDonald's, Ford coming out today and saying they're likely going to restart production at 5 new plants. I mean, American companies are coming and saying out, look, we may get back to work. I mean, we've got plans. And a lot of these CEOs are taking salary cuts. The news isn't going to be great when earnings season starts up again. But I do see a lot of these companies and management taking proactive steps to kind of ease the pain that we're likely going to see from this earnings reporting season.
Well, I tell you, Cheryl, that really gets my attention more than the government, more than the stimulus, more than any amount of central bank intervention, is you've got the world's best CEOs who are right there, who are already looking through this, making plans, steps. They're actively deploying capital. They're investing. They're moving forward to the American people. The numbers are not going to be great. In fact, they're probably going to stink pretty terribly compared to what we're used to. But these are not normal times. So what I look to is these CEOs who are going forward. Anybody that's hiding in the bushes right now, I don't want to invest in.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly you do have people that are looking for opportunity. I know Charles Payne and I have talked a lot about this already, that you have to look for good companies, strong companies. And I have to say, I do applaud some of the CEOs out there right now. David, Keith, guys, thank you very much. It's great to have you both here.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.